All right, so today's question is, should Izzy get an auto rematch from Sean Strickland? I'm going to be honest, I don't think so, and I'm a huge Izzy fan. I really am, and I know Izzy gets a lot of flack. I know he does. I know people call him cocky, they call him kind of flamboyant, whatever you want to call him. That man is still considered, in my book, an extremely game fighter. I don't think that anybody can take that away from him. I don't think anybody can take away the fact that this man is one of the greatest strikers to ever be in the UFC. Now, to answer the question, should he get an automatic rematch? No, I don't think so, because we have to be careful with getting into a loop of winning the belt, losing the belt, winning the belt, losing the belt, and going on this track of going back and forth. And granted, he has a long and illustrious title defense. You know, he's literally been clearing out the division, but I think that he should try to get one and then come back. It'll prove it'll prove himself as a champion, that he can lose the belt. He lost the belt to Alex Pereira. He came back, beat Alex Pereira. Then he comes and defends the title against Sean Strickland. Then he loses again. This is what I mean. You can't get into this pattern of wins and losses, and that's 2 straight fights now. And I just don't think that would be a great look for the UFC. I don't think that would be creating a great culture for the UFC for champions. And it is fair to factor in the fact that he's been a long-time champion overall, but I think at the same time, like I just said, you can't get into that this habit of handing out title defenses to champions after they lost the belt, especially twice now. And now I'm not saying that you shouldn't do this for a champ who has been defending the title and he loses and then you give him an automatic rematch. No, but in Izzy's specific situation, I do think that he should go back and get at least one dub before he comes back and fights Sean Strickland. Now, do I think that Izzy's fight with Sean Strickland was the best Izzy that we could have seen? No, I don't. I think we saw a slow Izzy. We saw an Izzy who was not firing on all cylinders, and I think that we can chalk that up to the fact that he underestimated Sean Strickland. And I think that that's the biggest mistake that you can make as a champion, and we've seen it before. I think, you know, the fight that really comes to mind automatically when I draw back to other champions is when Anderson Silva fought Chris Weidman. And I think that is a prime example of why you cannot underestimate anybody who you're about to fight when it comes to being a champion. When you're about to fight in a UFC period, you cannot underestimate any of these people. And so I think Izzy made that mistake, and I think that's why we didn't see the best Izzy when it came to him versus Sean Strickland. And I give Sean Strickland all the props. Sean Strickland fought his fight the way that I thought Sean Strickland could have won was the exact way that Sean Strickland fought. He put that pressure on Izzy. I think there were many moments where we saw Izzy very uncomfortable, and that's why we saw Izzy get wobbled a time or two in that fight, just because he was put into a lot of uncomfortable positions. And the way Sean Strickland fights, he has that pressure style, and it's different with Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, he's a much more, I wouldn't even call him a pot shotter. He's not a guy that just kind of just pot shots, because when you are hurt, he starts to couple together really nice combos. I mean, he's an ex-Glory champion. So you have to expect elite striking from Alex Pereira, and that's why Izzy did not underestimate him. On top of the fact that he's lost to Alex Pereira before. And so when he went against Sean Strickland, who I think is a game fighter, There are fighters who come into the game that have this thing about them. It's kind of crazy. It's like they almost don't worry about the damage that you can take in fights, and that is a gift. That is a gift when it comes to fighting. And fighters that I think that have that gift are Sean Strickland, Michael Bisping when he was in the game. Those two definitely come to mind. Justin Gaethje, he has that factor with him. And so when it comes to those kinds of fighters, it can get really scary for other fighters. And that also gives you a reason to not underestimate them. And like I said, I think that's why Izzy just didn't look like himself. And when it comes to a guy like Sean Strickland, you've got to come to fight. You've got to be on your game. And I just don't think he was on his game. Now, if they come back and they fight each other again, who do I think would win? I would put my money on Izzy. However, Izzy has to be running on all cylinders. He has to be the Izzy that fought Kelvin Gastelum. He has to be the Izzy that fought, Paulo Costa. He has to be the Izzy that fought Robert Whittaker. If he's not, and he shows up the same version or even slightly better, he's probably going to lose again. He has to be 100% Izzy. And so that's my opinion on this situation. I think Izzy was a phenomenal champion. However, as far as him coming back and getting another title shot, I think that, like I said, he has to get at least one more under his belt. Maybe he fights Duplessis. Maybe he fights, I don't know, Robert Whittaker again. Just somebody to get the train rolling again, to make it convincing enough that he can hold the title and that he is leagues above everybody else in that division. And I think that he's been set back a little bit, obviously, after this loss to Sean Strickland. I think Sean Strickland is a much deserving champion. This is nothing to take away from Sean Strickland. I think Sean Strickland is a phenomenal fighter. I think he's very well-rounded, very well-versed in both grappling and striking. I previously thought in the last video that I think that some of you probably have watched, I had Izzy winning based off of the fact that I thought Izzy was going to bring the best version of himself. But he didn't. And so he needs that leading up into his next competitions. And I think this is a learning lesson for Izzy. I think that Izzy is a very smart and adaptable fighter. And that's what we saw when he fought Alex Pereira the second time. And so we're going to see what happens, people. We're going to see what the UFC decides to do. But I did see a podcast with Robert Whittaker and Ariel Helwani, and Robert Whittaker kind of had the same take. He doesn't believe that Izzy should get another title shot automatically, and I'm going to have to agree with him on this. And that's basically all I've got for you guys. Comment down below what you guys think. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, comment button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.